Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at several clips of fat activists responding to somebody who said, actually, if you're obese, that means you have privilege. We're also going to be taking a look at a few bonus clips, including one where somebody says obesity is actually caused by genocide and war, so be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
I have a hot take for you. If you are someone who is able to access enough food to be obese or morbidly obese, you have privilege.
A privilege that starving kids in other countries don't have.
I know, that's probably a tough concept to understand, but you have privilege, especially over people that can't even afford food.
Definitely going to agree there.
Okay? If you have the ability to eat in excess of your normal caloric intake to the point where you're able to maintain an extremely high body weight, you have a lot of privilege to be able to do that compared to people that literally cannot eat. I'm not saying this to be mean. I just think that it's important that we get a little perspective on where we're at and actually how put down we are by society, because I don't think a lot of people who are overweight, like myself, think about the fact that we have a lot of privilege to be able to even be overweight.
Honestly, it's not that difficult of a concept to wrap your head around, but as we're going to soon see, fat activists cannot wrap their head around it. Also, all the comments on TikTok were trying to crucify this girl. None of them had a good retort at all. They were just attacking her personally, which is what dumb people do when they don't actually have an argument.
That's not a bad thing. It just is. I'm not
I love the way you're turning it around on them.
saying this to offend anyone. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of perspective. So, I hope this helps. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, that helped quite a bit. And as we're about to see, many fat activists disagree.
I have a hot take for you. If you are someone who is able to access enough food to be obese or morbidly obese, you have privilege.
That might be some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Okay. You ever heard of starving kids? They don't have any food.
That's certainly a hot take, and you're also completely wrong. So she goes on to explain how if you can find enough food to manage to make yourself obese or morbidly obese, you're actually really privileged, and you need to recognize how much privilege you have.
Yeah, especially if you're morbidly obese. Morbid obesity is when you're 80 to 100 pounds overweight, so some could say that's the size of a small child, so.
For other people. So first things first, we know that the main cause of anybody's weight is genetics. No. If that were the case, there wouldn't be starving kids in other countries, right? Some places people are starving, other places people have access to so much food that they're 100 pounds overweight. And obviously the idea that it's genetic is total bollocks. Genetics plays an insanely important part in what your weight is going to be.
Okay, so people can't starve. Gotcha.
Secondly, love how she completely ignores the fact that food that is not great for you is significantly cheaper than healthy food and can usually feed a family for longer.
Okay, so it is the food and it's not genetics at all. And that's also not true. You can create complete meals on a budget. I've done it countless times.
If your options are eating McDonald's or not eating anything, you're going to get a burger.
Eating out is more expensive than going to the grocery store and buying food and cooking it yourself. I'm not sure where anybody even comes up with that. They're like, some people can't afford to eat healthy. You gotta go eat some fast food, like it's not expensive as hell. When I was a kid, dude, eating out was a treat. Because we were poor. We actually didn't have money.
Secondly, she makes zero mention of food deserts, where there are literally no options for fresh ingredients.
That's not true. I actually lived in a food desert not too long ago, and I had to drive 30 minutes to the store. So what I did was I drove 30 minutes to the store.
I know that's a crazy concept to wrap your head around. When you actually care about your health, you'll take the steps necessary to ensure that you're healthy.
Within a certain mile radius and only processed food available. What does privilege mean to you for you to say this?
It means when somebody is morbidly obese, whilst people in other countries have such a lack of access to food that they're actually starving. That's what she meant. I don't know why I have to reiterate that. It was actually a very simple point. Basically, her whole argument was obesity is not somebody's fault to begin with, so therefore obese people are not privileged. I would like to counter with the fact that human beings can starve. Therefore, the food that you eat does lead to your size. Next.
I have a hot take for you. If you are...
So tell me you don't have any fat friends without telling me you don't have any fat friends.
This is the fat positive therapist. Yes, there are multiple.
My name's Kayla, licensed counselor, certified intuitive eating counselor, and fat liberation activist.
An intuitive eating counselor.
This take is so stupid for so many reasons, and I could literally eviscerate the argument from a bunch of different standpoints. But
do it then.
What I'll do today is just talk about the fact that if you are not a part of a marginalized group, do not make sweeping generalizations over the marginalized group.
I thought you said you could eviscerate this whole argument, and now you're talking about you're not allowed to have this argument if you're not part of the marginalized group. Once again, terrible response, not even a retort.
Part of a marginalized group, do not make sweeping generalizations over the marginalized group, because it just showcases that you don't know any fat people.
You're not negating anything that she said, bro. They literally tried to change the entire conversation and make it about something that it is not. It's honestly some of the weakest attempts at debate that I've ever seen.
If your assumption is that fat people are gorging themselves into oblivion, your only evidence is probably that you've been watching too much My 600-Pound Life.
Okay, well, how do you explain that show? Okay, so physics work differently on TV and on My 600-Pound Life than in real life. On that show, every single one of those people got to that size from eating copious amounts of food. But out here in the real world, I guess that is not the case. They're using some kind of TV magic. That was really weird, man. I've brought up the show My 600-Pound Life countless times to point out that obesity is not a joke and it's actually insanely bad for you. And now they're trying to bring it up? It's not proving the point that you thought it was. It's actually proving my point and the girl's point. All right, man, take it easy. You don't have to start getting possessed by the demon of fat acceptance. Oh my God.
She's like, and now let me tell you what this is really about. Come closer, motherfucker.
Ah!
Because that's not what body diversity is, motherfucker.
Ah!
Because that's not what body diversity is.
Wait, what's not? Hold on, man. Your only evidence is probably even watching too much My 600-Pound Life, because that's not what body diversity is. What? That statement didn't even go with the previous statement to form a coherent sentence. Your assumption is that fat people are gorging themselves into oblivion, and your only evidence is probably even watching too much My 600-Pound Life, because that's not what body diversity is. Because, what? Okay, so being 600 pounds is not body diverse, apparently. I thought that was like the top of the fatness spectrum and you were the boss now. You get to start barking out orders to the smaller fats beneath you.
That's not what body diversity is. Body diversity has always existed. It's extremely problematic because your body, it reflects Eurocentric beauty standards, which means your body is extremely privileged compared to other...
Her body is privileged because of Eurocentric beauty standards? Okay, so your retort when she says that being obese means you have privilege is to say that she's actually privileged because she fits into Eurocentric beauty standards? Wow, way to turn that around on her. Being obese means that you have privilege because you have an access to an overabundance of food that people in some other countries don't have. No, you. And that's why... What? You literally just said no, you? As an adult? What? Nuh-uh, you have the privilege, actually, nuh-uh. You do.
Or more curvature, or other cultures who have more curvature in their bodies, who are being demonized for not being thin.
Okay, so obesity is a privilege, and you could not negate that or argue it at all. You just went into some spiel that literally had nothing to do with the price of tea in China.
So just check that. Maybe read some books about anti-blackness and anti-fatness.
Okay, so the next time I'm trying to argue with somebody, I will just recommend them to read some books, because I'm the smart one here. I'm the winner. You're so dumb. You need to go educate yourself, even though I could not come up with a proper response to your argument.
And find some fat friends. That's all I got for you. Have a good day.
Okay, so obesity is not a privilege because that person is conforming to Eurocentric beauty standards, and they also need to get some fat friends. Oh yeah, and also people on my 600-pound life are not body diverse. For some reason, that was weird. I don't know why she threw that in there. I'm 600 pounds, man. How much more diverse do I need to get? Jesus. Okay, so that's another example of how people within this movement cannot respond to an argument. They just go on some spiel about this, that, and the other thing. Next. Alright, this one just has a bunch of text on the screen that says, me, whenever someone mentions the obesity epidemic, good thing you put an asterisk in the word obesity, without acknowledging the fact that it's the product of 3+ generations of genocide, food insecurity, war, and other stressors that have caused population-wide epigenetic changes. Okay, so your obesity is because of genocide and war that happened many, many years ago that led to epigenetic changes in the population. So our response to stress in our environment is for our children to be fat for several generations into the future.
This is just crazy enough to work. The human body really knows what it's doing. Like, no.
It doesn't matter how stressed out you are, you can't pull calories from the air. When you eat food, it is the fuel that helps your body move. If you eat an excess of food, it is stored as adipose tissue so your body can use it for fuel later on. If you never use that fuel or tap into it and you keep eating more and more and storing more and more adipose tissue, you will become obese. Okay, so all the world's problems are why we can't personally get things done, okay? Alright, so unfortunately for her, her weight is caused by war and genocide and epigenetic changes to the society and stuff. That's a bummer, man. Me and several other people like me have lost the weight and kept it off, so maybe you should stop focusing on all that war and genocide all the time. It's really bringing you down, man. It's really stopping you from bettering yourself. Maybe focus on some kittens or some puppies or something for a while to get your head in a good mental space. Next.
For all my people who work through a drive-thru, I don't know who the trained you.
It was me. I'm sorry.
But you are trained to give the change first and then the dollar bills. Why?
I don't think they're trained to do that.
The change so that people can put it in their change pocket, because everybody has different where they put their money, and then the dollar bills. Now don't give me the change on top of the dollar bill.
Why? They do that with me all the time and it's not a problem.
And now I'm fucking balancing that shit to come inside and then I'm dropping it out.
Alright, man, here's what you do. As they hand you the dollar bill with the change on top, grab the dollar bill and kind of bend it a little bit so the sides bend up like that, and it forms like a sturdier surface to hold the change on. That's what you do.
Bitch gave me the change on the dollar bill when I went to go get my coffee.
Your coffee? Okay.
The change fell off the dollar bill. Duh, stupid bitch.
Dude, calm down.
Because you should have given me the change first. Anyways.
New York shit.
2 quarters rolled away. Now I'm missing 50 cents. You can't do that to a fat bitch, because now let's say I want to go get a bag of chips.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. You're all right. I like you.
I only have $1 and it's $1.50. Now what, bitch?
Dude, you're not going to get out of the car and go get that 50 cents. I would open the car door, get out, and get that 50 cents. That's what I would do. 50 cents, that's half $1, dude. These days, every cent counts, man.
People piss me the fuck off. Really.
Alright, you went to get some coffee, and then the people pissed you off. Alright, so don't ever make a fat girl, your words, not mine, drop her change because then she won't be able to go and buy a bag of chips. I like that. Like I said, crease that dollar bill. Give it a little more structural integrity. So what do you think of the clips that we just saw? Is obesity actually a privilege because there are people in other countries who are starving? Are people on my 600-pound life not good examples of body diversity? And is obesity actually caused by genocide and war? Leave a comment below. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.